Hello everyone. Believers Science Academy is bringing to you another playlist for this Prelims 2026, and this time we will be covering some of the important current affairs. And this playlist is specifically meant to cover all the important government schemes which would be very important for the aspirants to study. And the playlist would be to ensure that minimum time is taken even for the students to watch these videos. And from the videos that you watch, in the minimum time that we are talking about, you are expected and you will definitely get the maximum benefit out of it. Okay, so we will be covering three schemes in this particular playlist, and also with every videos that would come under the same playlist, we will be covering three important current government schemes with respect to the UPSC's prelims requirement. Okay, so in this today's video, we have three important schemes, and all of these three important government schemes, which we will be discussing today, were discussed in the recent budget, which was announced on the 1st of February 2026. So the first three important schemes are Biopharma Shakti Initiative, and then we have the India Semiconductor Mission 2.0, and then we will also be discussing about the Bharat Vistar Initiative. So people who have already glanced the budget, you might have known that these schemes were used or were put forth invariably here and there, and it becomes absolutely important to know what these schemes are. Of course, keep in mind, we don't have to essentially dive deeper into understanding what these schemes are, independently, or sorry, individually. Rather, we should have an idea, right? And that idea should be mostly in the prelims perspective, which would be helpful for your prelims examination. Okay, so with that notion in the mind, let's begin. The first topic is Biopharma Shakti Initiative. The first scheme is your Biopharma Shakti Initiative. So why was it in news? Because of the recent announcement or recent remembrance of this particular scheme during the announcement of the budget by the Union Finance Minister. And if you ask me, or if you're thinking what is the aim of this scheme, this is to strengthen India's position in high value biopharmaceutical manufacturing. Mind you, India is already doing good in producing or in manufacturing generic medicines. But however, India lacks in establishing itself a very solid ground in the high value biopharmaceutical manufacturing area. So this particular scheme or the budget has an ambitious target to set aside a few few budget to make sure that India becomes one of the biggest hub, even in terms of the biopharmaceutical manufacturing as well, right? So what is important for the prelims examinations? If you see, there are a few important aspects that you have to keep in mind. First is the full form, which is the Biopharma Shakti, which means strategy for healthcare advancement through knowledge, technology, and innovation. And what is the objective of this particular scheme? To develop India into a global pharmaceutical manufacturing hub. So this is also very important. And what is the financial outlay? It is roughly around 10,000 crore, which has been set aside for a period of 5 years. And if you are wondering what are the focus areas, there are three important focus areas under this particular scheme. First is the domestic production of biologics and biosimilars. Of course, we will not go too much in detail about what is biologics and what is biosimilars. So I hope you all know that. Well, people, if you do not know, please let us know in the comments. We can go in depth, right, if you want. But the agenda of these playlists is to make sure that with the very minimal time, we give you what is really important, so that we can cover maximum topics within a very small period of time, within a very short span of time, so that it won't be burdenous to you people as well. Okay. Anyway, second important focus area of this initiative is to bring the advancement in the manufacturing industries or infrastructure in the country, and then also making sure that innovation is also not sidelined in the next generation therapies as well. And also, what are the key components of this? There are three important key components. One is the establishment of biopharma focused institutional networks. Most importantly, three new NIPERs, right? National Institutes of Pharmaceutical Education. Already there were seven existing before, right? So all of these seven existing NIPERs are also being told or advised for the upgradation, and also an addition of three. So total it's 10 NIPERs which we are talking about, and also a creation of nationwide network of roughly 1,000 plus accredited clinical trial sites. That is also important. And then promotion of industry, academia, research collaboration in the field of biopharmaceuticals. So this is to complement our already established generic medicines field. So this becomes a very important scheme. So from the prelims, this is more than sufficient. So you just have to know that this is to make sure that India becomes one of the top hubs, even in terms of the biopharmaceutical manufacturing as well, right? Moving to the second topic is the India Semiconductor Mission. So, India Semiconductor Mission 2.0. It's not the very first pilot project, but it's the second version. The 2.0, which primarily has been launched or primarily has been initiated even in the first place to reduce the dependence of depends on the semiconductors from the outside countries, most importantly the USA, which we try and import a lot of semiconductors. So to keep ourselves at a position that we are self-sufficient in manufacturing or producing our own semiconductors, right? So once again, why is it in news? Because it was once again announced by the finance minister in the Union Budget 2026-27, and marks the second phase of India's semiconductor strategy as well. And talking about the focus for the prelims examinations, there are a few important things. First one is the objective. What is the main objective? As we've already discussed, this is to build self-reliance in the field of manufacturing India's own semiconductors, and also bring end-to-end semiconductor ecosystem within India, right? So this is ultimately to reduce the dependence, or to reduce the imports of the semiconductors which India is currently doing from outside countries, especially USA, and also to stabilize the entire atmosphere with respect to how the present geopolitics is taking place, right? So that is also important. And talking about the budget allocation, around 1,000 crores for the financial year 2026-27 has been set aside, and it builds upon the Indian Semiconductor Mission ISM 1.0, which was already there, already announced, and this is just an add-on to that, right? 2.0. And what are the key focus areas? First is manufacturing the semiconductor chips or equipments and materials within India, development of full stack Indian semiconductor IP, which is the intellectual property, and then also strengthening domestic and global semiconductor supply chain, not only becoming self-reliance, but also strengthening the domestic and global semiconductor supply chain. Be a part of the global supply chain is also one of the ambition under the India Semiconductor Mission 2.0. And also to make sure industry-led research and development and training centers are also created to make sure that the skill development is also happening within the country for the people as well. However, we will just quickly see the ISM 1.0 as well. So it was launched in 2021, and the nodal ministry, of course, it's MeitY, the Ministry of Electronics and the Information Science. Well, with that, the key schemes with that, there are a few other key schemes which you have to keep in mind. The semiconductor fab scheme, which talks about 50% fiscal support for water fabrication units, and then the display fab scheme, which talks about 50%, up to 50% of project cost support, and then the DLI scheme, the design linked incentive scheme, which gives financial support across design, development and deployment stages, and then the Semicon India program, which is a flagship platform connecting industry, academia, startups, and the policy makers as well. So, from the prelims point of view, it is also important to know what is semiconductor. What is a semiconductor? These are those materials whose electrical conductivity lies between conductors and insulators, right? And it is also known as the brains of modern electronics. Very important. And what are the core properties of the semiconductors? Doping, temperature, they're very flexible. In fact, they are, the conductivity can be controlled by doping, temperature, light, electric field, or voltage. And the most common material which is used is silicon, right? That is also important. And what are the other materials? Your germanium, gallium arsenide, silicon carbide, gallium nitride. So all of these things important for the prelims examinations. Of course, the other materials not sufficient, but the most common material, silicon, is something that you have to know. And apart from that, the definition and the ISM 2.0, more than sufficient. Now, let's move on to the last topic of the today's discussion, which is the Bharat Vistar initiative. So, why was this in news? Because once again, this was proposed in the union budget, especially when talking about the agriculture sector, because this is something mostly connected or related to the farmers or farmers' agricultural produce output to even increase farmers' income. All of those things, get subsumed within this topic because it is the introduction. Because this particular scheme is talking about the introduction of AI-driven digital advisory support for farmers in the farming areas. So, talking about the prelims perspective, there are a few important things. So, what is the full form? The full form is virtually integrated system to access agricultural resources, and it is an AI-based tool, a multilingual AI-based tool, which is deployed in the agriculture fields to make sure it helps the farmers on a real-time basis, giving data on soil, moisture condition, climatic condition, weather, cropping patterns, everything, under a single nutshell. And what are the key integrations? There are three important portals that have been integrated. First is the AgriStack portal. Next is the ICAR package of agricultural practices, and then AI-based decision support systems are also integrated within this particular platform. And core objectives include enhancing farmers' productivity. As we said, it is not just talking about enhancing farmers' income, but also, most importantly, enhancing farmers' productivity and improve farmers' decision making by giving them the precise real-time data about a lot of variables which are very important for the farming, and then reduce risks through customized real-time advisory services, which is the one of the most major reason why this was deployed. And talking about some of the key features of the Bharat Vistar, first thing is it is a multilingual interface. And second one is important to know that it is AI-driven personalized advisories, which is based on crop type, soil health, weather conditions, market trends. Means the farmer gets all of these data in just one portal. And next, integration of scientific best practices from ICER, that is also there. And also it acts as a single digital window for agriculture knowledge and services as well. So what is AgriStack? It is also very important to know. Well, AgriStack is a digital public infrastructure. It is a DPI, especially for agriculture, and it is designed to integrate farmers, the land records, the crops, and the services with respect to agriculture for the farmers. And talking about the key objectives, it is to make sure that easy access is being made to the farmers at very affordable credits, affordable costs. Second is to improve availability of quality farm inputs, because ultimately we are not just talking about the income of the farmer, not just doubling the income of the farmer, but the productivity, because this particular initiative tries to address the root cause. Because if this root cause gets addressed, doubling farmers' income will eventually happen, will definitely happen, right? So that is the important objective of this particular scheme. Third is provide localized and crop specific advisories, because one size fits all doesn't work for Indian agriculture and especially Indian farmers. So this is something that is even personalized as well for each and every farmer from different regional sectors, regional areas. Okay. Next, to ensure better transparent market access, and also it helps government design, target, and implement farmer-centric schemes efficiently as well. Because now we're talking about getting real-time data about all the regional areas in a different way. And also we're talking about the integration, the inclusivity of all the farmers from all the areas. So obviously it also acts like a repository for the government to look into whenever they want to draft any schemes. And these schemes which the government drafts can be farmer centric schemes as well, making sure that the efficiency can be maintained. Anyway, we have discussed in detail, especially for the prelims, more than sufficient, these three important schemes. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Stay tuned. We will be uploading few more videos. We will come with all the important government schemes which are very important for the prelims examinations, which were in news over the last 6 to 8 months. Stay tuned. Anyway, until then, we will just try and revise whatever has happened, and also wishing you the very best for the upcoming prelims. Signing off, this is Madan Gopal. Have a beautiful day.